systems are offline.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
It's alive!
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Trace the call. It's coming from inside the
Be
house.
afraid. Be very.
How's it going, people, and welcome to an all-new episode of Adventures in Medland with me, Mike James, and the Toto to my Dorothy, Alan Cassidy.
Hey guys.
Hello. So today, this is part 2 of our story about Adolfo Jesus Constanzo, aka the Witch Doctor. If you guys and gals haven't already listened to episode 1, I urge you to go and listen to that before this one, because this one just won't make sense otherwise, probably. I mean, it might do, but you're missing out on some juicy little nugs, right? Juicy nugs. So, as always with the part 2ers, we're just going to scrap any of the sort of the shitty chit-chat bullshit stuff that we normally go through, and we're just going to jump straight into it, so you can hopefully just pick off exactly where we left off. Mm-hmm. But we will do social media promos, so if you haven't already, go and follow us on Twitter at Murderland and also check out our Facebook page, Adventures in Murderland. So, Alan, are you ready for part 2 of this story?
As I'll ever be.
Let's. Okay.
What?
Okay. As I'll ever be. As I'll ever be. I don't know. I just found it funny. Okay. Let's jump into the grassland. So in the last episode, we left off with Adolfo feeding the remains of the Calzada crime family into his nganga, which is his cauldron, after he killed them for seemingly not accepting his offer of a full partnership. The story continues as we jump into July 1987, where Salvador Garcia, who, if you don't remember, was one of the guys who was part of the Federal Judicial Police. He was the one in charge of narcotics. This guy. He introduced Adolfo to another drug-running family, this one led by 2 brothers, Elio and Ovidio Hernandez. Got it?
Got it.
Okay, so Adolfo's now hanging around with these guys, but also in the same month, Adolfo takes a trip to Matamoros, where he meets a 22-year-old Sara Aldrete. Sara was a Mexican national, but had something called resident alien status in the United States. I didn't know what this was, so I had to Google it, because I had no idea, and I didn't know if alien was like an offensive word to call someone, but apparently it's like a law term, so I'm using it. I don't know.
Why is it offensive?
I don't know, because calling someone an alien, it's like, I don't know. I just feel like it could be offensive, right? Anything can be offensive. I don't know. That's why I had to Google it. I don't know if it's offensive. But apparently it's not. It's a law term. Apparently, resident alien status means that you are allowed in the country, but you've not been granted citizenship. She was allowed that status because she attended college in Brownsville, Texas, where she studied physical education and was known to be an exemplary student. It seems Sarah had a bright and positive future ahead of her. She was also planning to go to university to earn a teaching degree, but all of that was about to change.
Oh no.
The sweet young Sarah. Adolfo was apparently able to charm Sarah with his oodles of charisma, and he seemed to make a strong significance out of the fact that her birthday, which was September 6th, was the same as his mother's. So he just seemed to really... He's a spiritual guy, right? He's like, oh, nothing is coincidence. Everything means something. The universe is all connected. Yes. So he thought this was a big deal, which it's not. It's a pure coinkydink. Sarah was dating someone else at the time, but it seems she just couldn't resist Adolfo's seduction. Adolfo wanted Sarah for himself, and so to ensure she wouldn't run back to her boyfriend, he called him and told him Sarah had cheated.
Oh.
Which, I guess, she did cheat, but it seems like, I think this guy's like a very manipulative mind.
Where did she cheat?
What do you mean?
Cheat?
Oh, no. No, I said that she wasn't... I mean, I didn't say they fucked, but I said that she wasn't able to resist his seduction.
Okay.
Which is hinting that they fucked. Do you want me to go into the full details of how they fucked?
No.
I mean, I can make it up. It wasn't documented, but I'm very imaginative.
No, it's fine.
Okay. So, obviously, over time, Adolfo was able to further manipulate Sarah, leading her to eventually give up on her previous dreams of attending university. Bad times. Instead, Sarah plunged head first into the crazy voodoo crime world that Adolfo had created, and she emerged from it transformed.
In what sense?
Sarah Alderete would now be known as La Madrina, or the Head Witch.
Really?
She You don't sound too enthused about that.
No,
did you expect
really?
that? Oh, yes. No, she did. She was the head witch, the high witch, like from the movie. Witches, remove your mask. Remember that movie, Roald Dahl?
Yeah, where it was
rats,
all like really pretty witches, and then he took off.
Yeah, and it was her from. She played. She was in the Addams Family, wasn't she? She played.
Like Morticia.
Morticia Addams. Yeah, remember?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's her. Right? With his squad now in full formation, Adolfo was ready to take on the world. Cut to, I imagine this bit like a movie montage of like, you know, like in Legally Blonde where she does all the work and she's, where she's sort of doing the studying to get to the point. It's sort of, you know, sort of a passage of time, but it's going to show you all the different things that take place. So just imagine that going on in your head.
Right, okay.
For the listeners at home, I might even put a little bit of background music on just to emphasize it. Okay, let's go. The squad moved to a bigger headquarters to a plot of land in the desert called Rancho Santa Elena. On May 28th, 1988, Adolfo and his crew take drug dealer Hector de la Fuente and farmer Moises Castillo and execute them by gunfire. He sends one of his disciples to Mexico City to brutally murder and dismember a local transgender woman whose remains would be dumped all over the street corner in public view. Adolfo also managed to narrowly escape when Houston police raided a drug house in June 1988, where they seized numerous items of occult paraphernalia and the city's largest ever shipment of cocaine. On August 12, 1988, Ovidio Hernandez and his 2-year-old son are kidnapped by rival narcotics dealers. The family turn to the only man who could seemingly help. Adolfo. That same night, Adolfo and the squad make human sacrifices out of the kidnappers, and the hostages were released unharmed on August 13th.
Jesus.
Yeah, so he goes through, this year is his year. Like, 1988 is like the year for Adolfo. Like, big things start happening with him. He gets in with the crime family. His luck is amazing because he seems to be dodging the police left, right and centre and avoiding getting caught or whatever he's doing. So much so that he sort of becomes something of a kind of a hero within certain pockets of the local criminal underworld.
Anti-hero.
Well, a hero to the criminals, I guess. He's not a hero to the normal people.
Right, okay.
Yeah, he's a hero to the criminals. And he was loving the attention. Adolfo was taking all the credit for himself, with his ego growing almost as rapidly as his following. So he's getting a lot of people on his side. It kind of makes him sound slightly cool, right?
No.
Do you not think? I really picture this entire story as like a movie, and I think like this is one of those characters where like you would kind of like have you ever seen Scarface?
No.
Where like the guy is a horrible guy. He's like the worst of the worst, and you know that he's a dick and a bad guy, but you sort of still vouch for him a tiniest little bit. If it was a movie, If it was a movie, but in real life, this guy's a dick. I really want someone to make a movie out of this, though. Florentino Ventura one of the two government officials who stood by Adolfo at the start actually committed suicide in Mexico City on September 17th, taking his wife and a friend with him. So that's really fucking sad. But Adolfo was far too sort of wrapped up in his own infamy and what was going on in his own world to even notice. So one of the guys who stood by him at the start and sort of backed him and helped him get to where he was, obviously was going through some shit. And Adolfo was just ignorant to it all, I guess. Adolfo's firm fist wasn't just reserved for people outside of his immediate circle. On November 1988, one of Adolfo's disciples, George Gomez, was found to be using cocaine. And as we know from episode 1, even though he had no issues selling the drugs, Adolfo was very firm against actually taking them, remember, because the whole mindset he had was to we will sell the drugs to the sort of the non-believers and let them kill themselves this way, and we'll profit from the drug
stupidity.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much like what he said, wasn't it? I think it was
yeah.
On those lines. After an insanely busy and prosperous year for Adolfo, filled with huge drug deals, grisly murders, and of course, human sacrifice, 1988 finished on a high note. Ever since his quote-unquote disagreement, I guess, the bunny ears disagreement with the Calzado family. Not so much a disagreement as he just fucking brutally murdered them. Adolfo had yearned to be given a spot at the table of a crime family. Well, his wish finally came true, as Ovidio Hernandez became a full-fledged occultist. So the two guys who he was sort of doing some work for on the side, one of those brothers joined the cult.
Ooh.
Complete with ritual bloodletting and prayers into the Ananga. He had like a whole ceremony and a whole thing dedicated to him joining the cult. Adolfo's relationship with the Hernandez family was now firmly set in stone. And with that, Adolfo would have almost unlimited resources at his disposal.
It sounds like he's never going to get caught.
It sounds that way. I mean, he's got in with it. I'm guessing this is why he wanted to be in with the crime family, because he wanted to use their resources and their money and shit. I mean, it sounds like he's not doing so bad himself. But I suppose if you can have the backing of a crime family, it's like being sponsored, kind of, right? It's like a sponsorship, like a criminal sponsorship.
An illegal sponsor.
Yeah, like an illegal sponsorship, yeah. But the alliance, of course, came with some terms. And Adolfo and his disciples would essentially become a kind of hit squad for the Hernandez family. There was one time on February 14th, 1989, when a competing smuggler, Ezequiel Luna, was being tortured to death at Adolfo's ranch when two other competing dealers, Ruben Garza and Ernesto Diaz, accidentally, apparently, wandered into the ceremony uninvited. A mistake that would cost them their lives. I don't know why you would walk into something. I mean, I'm assuming these ceremonies look pretty fucking creepy from a distance.
Yeah, I can imagine it would.
I mean, if I'm seeing like burning flames and like,
then again, it could look like a bonfire, right?
Maybe. I couldn't picture like drug dealers being like, "Ooh, a bonfire." You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe they are. Drug dealers are people too. Goddammit.
What I can picture is just all gathered around in a circle with the pot in the middle.
Yes.
Yeah, it could easily look like a bonfire or a barbecue or something like that.
With a man in the middle screaming for his life. Just a typical bonfire.
I thought he was just really drunk.
Maybe. And on fire. Just I don't know. I don't know if they burn it. I don't know. But that's not to say the whole thing about them getting him to do their errands somewhat. It's not to say that Adolfo was the Hernandez's lapdog. The relationship seemed very much sort of give and take, and Adolfo was very much aware of the power that he had over the family, especially Ovidio, the one who was actually part of the cult.
Yeah.
Apparently Ovidio's belief in Adolfo had reached like crazy levels, so he was like really deep into this Pelo Me Hombre sort of shit that he was doing.
Okay.
Sometimes Adolfo would demand a sacrifice on the spur of a moment. Without rhyme or reason. So sometimes he just woke up one morning and was like, I want to sacrifice.